Welcome to the HTN plugin tutorial series. In this video, we'll set up a basic character that moves around randomly using HTN planning. I'm using third-person template for this tutorial. First, make sure the plugin is installed and enabled here. Let's create a simple character blueprint. It's called BP test character. Let's assign a skeletal mesh and an animation blueprint. Let's also add a navigation volume to the level so that the character can move around using a nav mesh. Nav mesh bounce volume. Place it at origin and set its size to encompass the level. I'll set it to 5000 by 5000 by 2000. By toggling the speed, you can see the generated nav mesh. Let's set up the AI for this character. For that, we need an HTN asset and a blackboard. Let's call this one HTN go to random location. And let's create a blackboard asset. Artificial intelligence blackboard. Let's call it BB character. It comes with some keys pre-generated, but we need to reload the asset in order to see them. So asset actions, reload. Now you can see the two pre-generated keys. Let's open the HTN. We see that the blackboard asset got assigned automatically. Now let's assign the HTN to the character out of the character's AI controller. On begin play, get the character's controller and cast it to AI controller. And call run HTN with the asset that we just created. Now this character will run this HTN continuously and create plans from it and execute them. But since there are no tasks, nothing will happen. So let's create some. Let's add a move to task that will move to the location specified by the specified blackboard key. Let's add a key to contain the movement target location. So it's movement to target location. Assign it in the move to task. Now we need to create another task that will put the location to move to during planning, a task that will select a location to move to. Let's create it using blueprints. Search for HTN task blueprint base. Let's call this task HTN task pick random location. Let's override the function called receive create plan steps, which is called during planning. This function gets the location that the character will have at this point in the plan. Let's find a random reachable point in radius. Let's set it to something like 10 meters. And if we successfully found a location to move to, let's set that to a specified blackboard key in the world state and submit a plan step with the default cost of 100. Let's compile and set the name of this task as it will appear in the HTN. Let's add it to the HTN now. Need to make the blackboard selector public in order to see it here. Now we can set it to movement target location and connect up the tasks. During planning, the character will first pick a random location, put it in the key, and the move to task will plan based on that. Let's see it in action. Let's place a character in the world, save all, and hit simulate. Now you can see the character pick random locations and move to them. If we enable the visual logger and hit record, we'll be able to see what the plan of the character is at any point in time. You can now see that the character's plan is to move from wherever that is to a location that was picked during planning, and that will change when they reach that location. Now the character has picked the location here. Let's take this a step further and create a higher level HTN that includes the first one. Let's call it HTN composition example. In it, we'll use the subnetwork node to include the HTN we just created 3 times in a row. Now let's make the character actually use it instead of the old one. The character will now pick 3 different locations to move to. Now let's see it in action. You can see that the character's plan involves moving to 3 different locations in sequence. During planning, the character picked one location around itself and decided to move to it. It then picked a second location around the first one, decided to move to it, and then it picked a third location around the second one and decided to move to that. This is possible because the planner knew where the character would be at each point of the plan. In future videos, we'll explore how this ability to have foresight and plan ahead can be used to create interesting behavior during planning.